This is Dave Garrick with Atlas Screen Supply.
David Gross with Condi Systems.
Hello, this is Jimmy Lamb with Sawgrass.
This is Lon Winters with Graphic Elephants.
And you're listening to Two Regular Guys
Podcast.
Hosted by Aaron Montgomery
and Terry Combs. Coming to you live from a condemned outhouse on the wrong side of the tracks. Somewhere dark, dirty, and dank.
Well, thanks, Jimmy, for that. I haven't heard that one for a while.
So. Yeah, it's been a little bit since we've heard that one.
All right. Welcome to the show. It's Friday, July 5th, 2019, the day after Independence Day here in the U.S. And I'm Terry Combs. You can find me at equipmentzone.com and also at terrycombs.com.
And I'm Aaron Montgomery, and you can find me over at aaronmontgomery.info. Today, we are going to be welcoming back to the show Cheryl Kuchek. Is going to talk to us about the growing sublimation market. So Cheryl and I are good friends, and she's got a fantastic group on Facebook. In fact, my guess is they're going to be checking in here soon. There's a big group of folks, so we'll look for them to become part of the regulators today, Terry.
All right.
Exciting.
That's great.
Yeah. So, but before we get into all that, the sublimation and all that kind of fun stuff, Terry, post Independence Day, it's a little slower here in the summertime, but couple of newsworthy items that came across our desk. What do you have on the schedule there, Terry?
Yeah, Aaron, the 2019 Impressions Awards. Decorators of all sizes and experience levels are invited to submit their work. It's the 41st annual contest, and it'll be judged at the Fort Worth ISS show. And that's going to be October 3rd through 5th, and the winners are going to be announced on October 5th. Prizes include a free Impressions Expo full conference package for the overall grand champion, and the additional for all first place winners in each category, they'll receive a single Impressions Expo seminar workshop, and they can use that anytime at the Impressions Expo, because that's going to be the new name next year.
Yeah,
exactly. And so any of the events during 2020 and the winner's choice, the deadline for entries will be August 31st. So make sure you jump in and submit your work. And Aaron, as you know, we've had folks who've been decorators for just a couple of years win that grand champion prize. So
yeah, definitely.
So let's you enter and see your work on display there in Fort Worth.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll have a link in the show notes for where to go check that out. And our crack producer, who is hanging out with us in the comment section today, Eric Campbell, is kind enough to also put that link into the comment section there on Facebook. If you're checking us out on facebook.com/2 regular guys, that's the number 2 regular guys. All right, Terry. So what I saw was a Dry Duck executive to compete on a new Amazon Prime reality show. So this came from the folks over at ASI and Wearables Magazine. But Nicole Parker, who is vice president of Kansas City-based workwear brand Dry Duck, is gearing up for her big television debut. Parker has been selected to compete on a new Amazon Prime reality series called The Social Movement. It's a 6-part series which follows Parker and 40 other leaders, entrepreneurs, and investors as they work with teams to help nonprofits create a business strategy to solve socioeconomic issues such as natural disasters, affordable healthcare, wage inequality, and the education gap. So could be interesting. Very cool to have somebody from our industry participating in that. So I definitely am going to check that out on Amazon Prime. So.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well,
hey, we want to thank all of our regular listeners, the regulators, and any new listeners tuning in today. If you have an idea for a future show, go to our Contact Us page on 2 regularguys.com, or reach out to us on social media. We are everywhere as 2 Regular Guys. And if you're catching the live video via Facebook Live, please jump in and participate. We'd love to have your questions. And Aaron, with that, let's hear a word from our gold sponsor.
This episode of the Two Regular Guys is brought to you by Bright & Leap, makers of the Reggie Award-winning Embrilliance embroidery software. Embrilliance is different. You don't need hardware dongles or to trade active seats for every user. One license lets you run every computer in your shop at once. Embrilliance runs natively on both Mac and Windows. Your single license lets you install on both platforms. Embrilliance is modular. If you only need customizing with lettering, sizing, and recoloring, you can get just that. Brilliance's unique stitch processing tools even allow you to resize and improve expanded stitch files from digitizers or stock collections for faster running, lighter embroideries. If you decide you need fully featured digitizing, it's fast and easy to add powerful design creation tools to your system. You can start with any tool and build your ideal kit. All Brilliance programs run standalone or work together in their unified platform. See the difference for yourself at Embrilliance.com. Two Regular Guys listeners can enter the exclusive code 2RG, that's the number 2RG, at Embrilliance.com/store for 10% off your entire purchase.
All right. Well, thanks again to Brighton Leap for their support. Brighton Leap is our gold sponsor, but we do have other sponsorship opportunities available. So check out the details at the number 2, regularguys.com/sponsorship.
The number 2, yes.
The number 2.
If we're going to have to bring back 5 things so we can do that. All right. Cool. Well, thank you very much to Brighton Leap. Again, really cool that they provide that discount code for the listeners, and great to have them be part of the show. And thanks to all their support, and good stuff going on over there. We're going to have to get Eric back on here live to give us an update on what's happening these days. And let's see here. We've got lots of regulators are checking in this morning here.
Nice.
Terry, let me go back and catch a few more here. Evelyn Warner says, good morning. I'm here and ready to learn. Jeff Schussman says, good morning. Here we go. Got a new regulator here, Terry. Jennifer Gross says, good morning from a member of Cheryl's group.
Nice.
And Martha Taylor, good friend of ours. And also a good friend of the Sublimation for Beginners and Beyond group that we're going to talk about here in a little bit. I'm going to try to get to a few here. Let's get to a few more here, Terry. Rich checking in. Maria, let's see here. There's lots of comments going on over here. So, here we go. Todd says, morning all, still have all my fingers. It was a safe 4th. So, yes, those of you checking in after the 4th of July, hopefully everybody had a very safe endeavor. It was definitely felt like a bit, the haze around our house last night was pretty crazy. They really love their fireworks here in Missouri. So.
Well, Aaron, I watched 6.5 episodes of Stranger Things 3, so I had a pretty calm 4th of July. Gonna wrap it up tonight.
Very nice, very nice. James Beck says, "Hey, Coach, I was fortunate enough to be James's coach back in college, so." Really cool to have him checking in. In fact, he's been on our show, Terry. So
yes, yeah, absolutely
excited to see James again. And all right, I'm not going to be able to get everybody. Joe Ortnow checking in, and Joe is going to be joining us next week, Terry. So
right, exactly.
Good stuff. All right. I'm way off the rails, and that's how I normally roll. But shall we get into this sublimation conversation here, Terry? Are you ready?
Let's do it. Let me read Cheryl's bio here real quick. Cheryl Kuchak is the owner of Just My Imagination Designs, and we should have Just My Imagination in the background right now. She has been active in the personalization industry for over 10 years. Cheryl has a passion for the industry and a love for helping people. It was fitting that she would be the first to start a Facebook group to do that very thing. Sublimation for Beginners and Beyond is not just a Facebook group, but a resource to help those first starting out and those advanced. Welcome to the show, Cheryl.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited I get to use my AirPods. I just want you to know.
No, you're just showing off. No.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
They look completely white. Are they not sublimated? What's up with that?
I don't know. I dare not try and ruin them.
$180. What the heck? I'll just put it
Right,
in the press.
exactly.
400 degrees should be no problem at all.
Yeah, right.
You can Cheryl, just send the invoice for those to Terry Combs.
Exactly.
They don't work very well anymore, but they sure look good.
All right, Cheryl. Well, so start us. I know we've talked before, but for those folks that are just checking in for the first time here, start us off with a little background. What led you to create Sublimation for Beginners and Beyond, and kind of your love affair. That's you and I know each other personally, and you have a love affair for sublimation just like I do. So give us that background there.
Okay, so I started, actually, that's an old bio, but so I started about 15 years ago in the personalization industry. And, I was doing vinyl, embroidery, paper craft, scrapbooking. And, I would, it would be like the ebb and flow, I'd go with it and then I'd get bored but, when I started doing vinyl and I always had this desire to do hard surfaces and, like mugs or tiles. And I would put it on there and, I would just, my skin would crawl like, like, and people would go, oh my God, I love it. It's gorgeous. Oh my God. How much is that? And I was never okay with it. I always felt like there was something, and I'm certainly not trying to come against that, but just my own personal feelings.
Yeah.
So one day I had another Facebook group, and somebody had posted sublimation on tile. And I said, oh my God, what is that? I have to have it. So she messaged me and told me all the stuff she had. And so I spent about $5,000. I just leaped in. I at that point didn't even have a heat press. So I leap in and I buy the whole kit and caboodle. I was using Silhouette, didn't have Photoshop, didn't know any of that. And my first press, I was like, that's it. I'm so done. You can stick a fork in me. I'll never do vinyl again. Forget weeding. It's over for me. And I've really never looked back. I mean, I've never lost a passion for it. As David Gross says, I drank the Kool-Aid.
You drank the Kool-Aid. Absolutely.
I drank the Kool-Aid.
Outstanding. So, former player of mine back in my volleyball days, I said, I'm right with Cheryl on the vinyl skin crawling on those surfaces. So you're not alone.
I appreciate that.
and by using the word weeding, a shudder went across the industry every time they heard the word.
Oh boy, it's true.
I've asked in my seminars before, how many people here enjoy weeding? And it's it makes for a good joke. So.
Well, I will always have people that go, oh, I love weeding. And I'm like, okay, all right. I mean, it takes all kinds, know?
I think it's like whittling. They, it takes their mind off things.
Exactly.
All right. Well, Cheryl, you've been in, obviously you do sublimation every single day, and at a basic level, what trends are you seeing in the sublimation industry?
It's evolving at a pace like I don't even think you can keep up with it. It's incredible the evolution that's happening. For instance, this Cricut infusible. Have you guys seen that?
No.
Seriously?
Yeah, seriously.
Wow.
That's why we have great guests like yourself on to educate us here.
Now, let me tell you. So this box comes with two 12 by 12 sheets. Okay. And it's interesting because it's kind of like on a cardstock almost. And you get two sheets, and then you want, they're going to have you cut it out and then sublimate it. Well, they don't call it sublimate. They call it infusible ink.
Okay.
So I, of course, had to get some from Michael's. Michael's is selling it. So I had to. So here is mine.
Wow.
That's just, and then this is theirs. This is, now I don't know if they did this purposely, this gradient on it, if you can see how there's like a gradient, or if that just is like a mistake, or I don't know, but it's on the same thing on here too.
Okay.
So it's interesting if, it's a mistake, but anyway, I mean, the colors obviously are gorgeous. So this here, this is another thing that they sell. These are almost like the sandstone coasters with a gloss to it. For 4 is $12.99. This is $12.99 for 2. Somebody's making a killing.
Yeah. No kidding.
Right?
So that's just bringing more and more people to the sublimation world, really.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow.
It's
You know,
insane.
I was
It gives
talking
me
to
chills. Gives me goosebumps, I tell you.
Wow, that's cool.
I was talking to a manufacturer once, a screen printing manufacturer, and he goes, I love those U-Dos. And if anybody doesn't know, that's like at Michael's, it's like a little screen printing kit in a box. And I said, gosh, why would you love that? And he goes, because a handful of people are going to buy those and say, now I want to be a real screen printer, and they're going to come buy equipment from me. So I think that's the same in the same category.
Oh, you're not kidding. I mean, the cost of this is insane.
Yeah.
So for 3 sheets was $17.99, and of course, the only personalization you're going to be able to do is be able to cut out something and place it on it. It's so interesting.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So so here's another evolution that's happening. When I first saw this, I was like, I'm not sold. And that is the sublimation toner. So I'm going to show you, because, I'm going to tell, my personal belief. If it's good for somebody, then, I mean, you guys know me well enough to know okay. So can you tell which one is toner and which one is sawgrass?
I can't see the difference. And for our audio listeners, it's several butterflies on a sheet, a polyester sheet.
Oh, okay. So I didn't realize that, but okay. So the larger butterflies are the sawgrass, and this is the toner.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I'm very impressed.
Definitely
So
very impressive.
Here's another one.
Huh.
Yeah, beautiful colors. I'm impressed.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of progression happening in our industry. This is on hard surface.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That looks awesome.
So the colors are fabulous. And I'll share with you what it looks like. And the other thing that's kind of cool about that is that it's printed on plain paper. So no special paper needed.
Okay.
And then one other thing that I'll share. This is actually, I went to Condi's open house. I was teaching a class in Photoshop, and Paul Newman shared this. It is actually textured. I don't know if you can actually see it, but it's absolutely gorgeous. Yeah. Can you see the texture on it?
I think so. I
mean, it's really cool.
Wow. Oh yeah, there it is. Okay.
Yeah, it's almost like a canvas would be. It's just simply gorgeous. So they're actually starting to sell this now. So there's just so many new products coming out. So many it's so different than when I started, that's for sure.
Totally. I mean, it's really interesting. And as Terry mentioned, those of you that are catching this podcast version after the fact, make sure you come back to the Facebook group here, or our Facebook page. We'll tell you how to find Cheryl's Facebook group here in a little bit. But our Facebook page at facebook.com/2regularguys and check out the video version, because Cheryl's showing some amazing stuff here, some really cool stuff that unfortunately just can't get on the audio side of things. So we've got lots of people already checking in this morning, so everybody's seeing all this stuff. Cheryl, so tell me what you think is then what's driving this kind of, I don't know. I mean, there's this sublimation is just booming, as you mentioned here. All sorts of different people getting involved, from the craft world to the toner people. I mean, it just seems like everywhere you turn, sublimation is a word that people can actually say now out in the real world.
Right?
I'm sure Cheryl and I could write a full book on different ways to say sublimation that we've heard over the years.
Right. It's true. That is so funny. Yeah. I mean, first off, they've even heard the word, because so many people, back in the day, people literally didn't even know what the word was. So it's so cool. Cheryl, what product is that? I'm not sure. We're a few comments back there.
Yeah,
So,
how far back we got there?
Pam, what are you talking? You know what? I think she's talking about this hardboard.
Yeah, I think you're
This
right.
is actually from Unisub.
Yeah.
And it's brand new. It's absolutely gorgeous. I'm sure that all of them, all the vendors are going to be carrying this, but it's brand new. They said that they would be shipping like in 2 weeks, so it's been past 2 weeks.
Cool.
Just beautiful.
Yeah, the textured. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is beautiful. Awesome. All right. So Cheryl, back to my question then real quick then. So what do you think's driving this? You know, why are people coming to this in droves and loving it like you and I do?
All right. Vinyl sublimation. Vinyl sublimation. I mean, when you see sublimation, it's breathtaking. I mean, the first time you press, it's like, I mean, look at that. It's simply gorgeous. There's no words. To me, there's no words. And you know, I'm stuck like glue.
Perfect.
You know, it's funny too that so many people out there who can't say the word sublimation probably own many items that are sublimated and have no idea.
That is the truth. So every time we take a trip somewhere, I always go to the gift store and I look to see what. Okay, is this UV printed? Is this sublimation? You know, so or screen printed. You know, you look at the T-shirts. You know, 99.99% is not vinyl.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true. You, Aaron, me, and all the other decoration nerds out there do that at the gift shop.
Well, I'm glad I'm not the only one.
No, you're definitely not the only one.
All right. So, I'm sorry, Aaron, where do you go?
Go ahead, Terry. Go ahead.
I was just going to ask, so what's your take on the new Easy Subla heat transfer vinyl from Caesar? Is a lot of conversation about that in your group?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I've actually done, I think, 3 videos on it already.
Oh.
With Joe Piazza, Jimmy Lamb, and actually in Coastal. So I will tell you, I'm impressed with it. I mean, it takes a lot to impress me. I'm impressed. I'm impressed, and I'll show you a sample of it. So again, barring that, you know that I hate, and I don't hate many things, but I hate weeding. So they weeded this for me and sent it to me.
Very nice.
For me to press. But I gotta tell you, I was impressed with it.
Okay.
Now this is we pressed this first for I think like 15 seconds, and then we actually put the transfer on. I don't think it would work on a different color though. If it were like yellow or red, I think the transfer would, you know, some of it would get onto the t-shirt. So I think it works with maybe black.
Okay.
So that could be the downside to it. Here's the other. So, and by the way, I felt like, but it's probably the evolution of vinyl too, that it's softer.
Yeah.
You know, right. There's some stretchability to it. So I was impressed with that. But again, I haven't used vinyl in probably 10, 12, 15 years.
Yeah.
But this, of course, being just a, you know, rectangle, it's got that plastic feel that I hate.
Yeah.
So
bulletproof. Yep.
yeah, exactly. But you know, colors look pretty nice. And this was different because this was the vinyl that was printed on directly, and then I just pressed it onto the t-shirt. So it, you know, I actually think this looks better, but that's just my opinion, and I don't have a lot of experience with it because I just won't.
So the takeaway here is no vinyl. Is that
I think the takeaway is if you ever need help weeding, do not call Cheryl.
That's right. Do
That's
not.
true.
Do not.
She
do
will
not.
help with lots and lots of things, but weeding is not one of those things. So.
The only reason that I have this little stalled weeder
Yeah.
is to take off the plastic from the hardboard surfaces, with
There you
that plastic. That's
Yeah.
it.
That's it. That's the only weeding she does. All right. Cool.
That's my disclaimer there.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I do think it's really cool and interesting too, though. A company like Caesar, who's probably one of the most well-known vinyl companies in the States, at least, and it's interesting that people have been using their white glitter for a long time to do that particular thing, and so for them to spend as much time and effort as they have on that product, I think that says a lot about the convergence of those worlds and what sublimation can do, what you can achieve, that brilliant, vibrant look. So that's really cool. And I appreciate you sharing that with us.
Well, there's a lot of controversy with it because they have the Easy Subli ink that they made specifically for the vinyl. That is the only way that you can actually supposedly directly print on the vinyl is with that and with their profile to get the bright colors and all of that.
Yeah.
So when I pinned Joe Piazza to the wall,
Hollywood Joe?
well, I tried with Jimmy, but he slipped right through. But Joe said we only recommend, we don't tell people they have to buy that, Easy Subli. So then there was the question that I had to pin against the wall, Joe and Jimmy, because the whole thing was, do we have to bleed out our ink from the SG400 to the Easy Subli? So people were saying yes, and we're going to get it, and it's actually a little more. And to me, it was like, well, that would be insane. Just go buy another SG400, but do you really need to do that? Because that's really kind of crazy. So the bottom line is that it would void your warranty if you did, what do they call that? They
purging. Are you talking about purging the ink?
Yeah, but Aaron, what's the word?
I'm a little lost too, but just swapping the inks out, changing the inks, and not purging basically, or
no, it's literally bleeding your lines.
Oh wow!
So I mean, and they're saying that you have to do 40 flushes, or
That's expensive.
That's very expensive. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And generally, when you change out ink systems, you have to put cleaning solution through those lines. So because sometimes mixing inks turns those inks into Jello in your lines.
I think that it just I think the bottom line is this is actually with regular. And I guess I failed to mention this, but that's regular sawgrass ink. So I think
that looks great.
Beautiful. Yeah, I do too. So I don't think it's necessary to have to change out or to buy the other ink. But if you're buying a new system, sure, absolutely buy it. They have the profiles for it, and no doubt they have spent a great deal of money and time perfecting that. So obviously that would be, you have two systems.
Yeah, definitely. So some good stuff here. Good comments happening too, as we're going here. So the regulators plus the Cheryl Group folks that are now regulators too. So that's, Cheryl, I don't know if you know that, but that's what we call the people that follow us here on the Two Regular Guys. So that's I think Christine Shreve was penned that name for everybody.
Yeah,
there, but,
I think I was on
that's
the show
right.
when
You were there. That's right. All right. So Todd Dowling says, well, great for Onesie Tuesday. I think it's Sublicos is effective for large run production. Yeah, like I said, Cheryl, there's definitely a lot of conversation about this, controversy. I'm not sure if that's exactly the right term, but a difference of opinion on ways to go about this. Evelyn says EcoSolvent printers can do the same thing. Absolutely. Yeah, I think in certain ways, EcoSolvent can print onto vinyl and things like that, but it's a little bit different from sublimation. Plus, EcoSolvent printers are not the cheapest things in the world comparatively.
Right. Right.
So good stuff going on there.
But
All right.
I agree with Todd, actually. I think for onesie twosies, I think it's perfect. And, there's a place for it. But I think major production, I just don't see it.
Yeah.
I don't. I do think the washability on this is pretty phenomenal, though. I do have to say. And I do want to also say that here's another thing, when you're doing this, and there's been some issues with when you print directly to the vinyl and then you press it, when you wash it, there's some fading, little bit of fading, because obviously all that ink did not permeate into the vinyl.
Yeah.
So versus this, where you're literally, you're sublimating right directly to the vinyl, versus printing on the vinyl.
Gotcha.
So just a point there.
Yeah, definitely. No, good stuff. This is the kind of information that we love here on the Two Regular Guys. So thank you so much for sharing that. And I know this is a lot of the conversations that happen inside your group, Cheryl, and obviously very popular. So I wanted to kind of shift gears here a little bit and just talk about that group, if you don't mind. Obviously, you've been doing this with the group for a long time, and it's been very successful. You have a large membership there, lots of people looking to join all the time. But I think what really impresses me the most is just how, I don't know what the best word is, but how educational it is. It's not the typical devolving Facebook group where people are yelling and screaming at each other and fights all the time. Drama, flaming, whatever you want to call it. So what do you think your key to success is there? What's been what do you hold on to all these years that makes it such a great group?
Well, one, it's very difficult to get into our group because, and as time has gone on, we've realized that, if you have drama on your Facebook page, you're going to bring drama into my group. And so we just don't permit that. If you have a lot of cursing on your page, we don't want that either. So you're not there. So there's criteria there. So rarely, and I mean rarely ever, do we have drama. And, we are the very first sublimation group. You are in my group, Aaron. One of the only people, and you're not a vendor.
Yeah,
so,
as I say, I'm not a vendor, so that's why I got in.
Yes, that is why. I was actually having that conversation with a vendor who said, I really want to be in your group. And I said, no, we don't let any vendors in our group. Not for any other reason, but because I don't want somebody telling me, oh, so you didn't, you're telling them this, but you're not telling them that. So we keep it very organic and pure. And so it's, I think that people trust me to tell them the truth without them feeling like a vendor's going to jump in and go, oh, well, and counteract what I'm saying or whatever. So I also think we do a lot of education. So we do a lot of, we have a lot of live shows, as you know, because you've been on them, Aaron.
Yep.
And I work hard at getting discounts through the vendors like Condi, Coastal, Johnson Plastic, Giotto, who I really love them. Do you know them, Aaron?
I do.
Giotto?
I do. Mark
Okay.
and Michael and
Yeah.
really great guys over there.
Super great people. So anyway, they will be at the summit.
Cool.
So so excited and honored about that. Anyway, so let's see. Cheryl's maintains a Quality group.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then Gene says, no drama in the group because Cheryl is a regulator. Love it. Love it.
It's true. That's true. We definitely, we just, there's no name calling. There's no bashing companies. There's none of that. We just don't permit any of that. One of my admins said somebody had posted something, and I think it had the F word on it or whatever, and she deletes it and she says, "Listen, we're a PG group." That's a great way of putting it. We're a PG group.
We're a PG group. Yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome.
So
that's awesome.
That's what you can call it.
So you can't use that
group.
word, and you can't use the word weeding, probably.
Automatic.
They kicked me off the group. I said weeding.
That was like the word, not the you.
Yeah, totally.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well,
Hey,
Cheryl,
Cheryl, go ahead,
I'm sorry,
Terry.
go ahead. I was just going to say, you mentioned the Sublimation Summit. We know you have 1,000 things on your plate. You've taken on another one. Tell us about the Sublimation Summit.
Yeah, well, this is honestly the biggest thing ever that I've done. But I've talked to Aaron about it for got to be 6 or 7 years and I would ask him, what do you think, Aaron? Do you think it would go? And then I actually had a couple ladies at one of the shows say, "Oh my God, you've got to do this, and you're the person, and the vendors would be with you." And so then I started talking to the vendors, and they're like, "We need this. We need a dedicated sublimation heat transfer conference, and who better than you to do it?" And I'm like, "Really?" So it was the moment of signing the contract, and I'm signing for a house, not a conference. I mean, you're guaranteeing this money, and you could buy a house with it. It's like, oh my God. I kept pushing out the date. I'm like, could I have another 30 days? Could I have another 15 days? But they've been wonderful. They've been amazing. And I'm so excited about it. It's education based all the way. So we're going to have, 30 to 40 classes per day. So it's a lot of classes, a lot of learning. I'm excited about my keynote speaker that's going to be there. So excited, so honored to have him. I'm honored to have Aaron. I practically had to beg him. No, I'm kidding.
I was going to say, really? I don't remember that, but
just kidding, just playing. Yeah. But I'm so excited because Aaron's been part of this dream with me for a long time, and it's just so cool to see it coming to pass. It really is. And we're actually almost sold out. So I was able to get them to open it up for another 100 people.
Wow.
So, and before I forget, I'm actually going to give you guys a code for a week for people to get $50 off the 2-day pass. How cool is that?
Definitely. Yeah. We'll get to that here in a second. So Cheryl, to go back to the kind of give us the, for those of our listeners that have no idea what we're talking about here, give us the 101 version of this. When's it going to be? Where's it going to be? I've got the website scrolling across the bottom of the screen here. It's sublimationsummit.com, but give us the details, the basics.
So it's in Peachtree City, Georgia. It's at Crown Plaza. It's September 27th and 28th. We are going to have, I think, 3 classes on the 26th, that Thursday. We are going to have just so many classes. It's going to be, so we're going to have beginners, intermediate, advanced, hands-on classes. Johnson Plastics actually is now carrying a laser, a Dremel, and that puppy is crazy cool. Huh. So I did this on it. I mean, when I tell you, it is like, these are little earrings that, look at this.
That's cool.
Yeah, isn't that neat? So they are going to have hands-on demonstration with that. Uninet is going to be demonstrating hands-on eye color. Aaron Knight is going to be there. So David Gross tells me, listen, Aaron Knight only does 2 shows a year or 3 shows a year. That's it. He's not going, I mean, he might support it. And of course he wants to support it, but he'll not go. I said, okay, David. So I said, Aaron, I'm doing blah, blah. Because of course I'll be there. I'm like, okay, well, that was hard. Yeah. So he's going to be teaching the basics of heat presses.
And for anyone who doesn't know, Aaron Knight is with Geo Knight heat presses. So.
Yeah,
at heatpress.com.
Yeah, right. And he's a great guy. And so he's going to be doing tips and tricks on the heat press and stuff. That's going to be a great group because people don't realize, first off, how important it is to have a good heat press for almost anything that you're going to do. And if you're going to invest in this, you should invest. But we're also going to have tremendous business classes as well. And I want to read you just a couple of ones that I'm super excited about. And Aaron, of course, I'm excited about yours.
She's just saying that because she's here.
Not true, not true. But we're having one on the mystery of licensing.
Cool.
The idea of licensing artwork can be daunting, but fear not. Through an understanding of the basics, you can dynamically boost your company's sales with little risk and time invested. In a seminar, you will learn how to find the right licenses for your target market, how to pair the right art with the right products, how to make the right deal, how to negotiate contracts, how to manage royalties.
Wow.
How cool is that?
That is going to be great.
Signing up.
Yeah.
that will be really interesting.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
we had a similar show here several months ago on licensing and trademark, and just people are constantly going back and revisiting that particular show. Everybody wants to know.
Yeah, they do. So we're going to have classes on copyright laws and all of that. But I think for this, licensing, they actually want to license one of my products. And it's just so cool because, I just need to know. I mean, these are the things I need to know.
Sure. Great stuff.
And the other one that I'm super excited about is how to start selling on Amazon. Did you know that Amazon was one of the best platforms for selling personalized products? In this session, you will learn, you will be taught how to get started on Amazon, discovering what is selling and the resources used to automate your business. So they literally, I love this guy. He's a great guy. He's, I've talked to him for probably the last 3 or 4 years, and he's just made a small killing on selling on Amazon and automating his business. I mean, he literally has it automated where, he's got other people in other countries like that post the items, that just do everything, that processes sales. It's going to be a great class for real. So that's just a couple of, there's so many of them. It's, Aaron, how about if you talk about your class?
I've got several, and we've got to figure out the final details on those. In fact, hopefully after the show here. So I sent a list, so we need to make sure. But obviously, knowing me, business planning will hopefully be in there. And want to talk about. And that's an
important one. That's really because people don't know how to start, how to plan, and the importance of it. But, if you don't plan, you plan to fail.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, I was reading something the other day that basically said that if you don't have a plan, you work for somebody who does.
Right. Exactly.
Exactly.
So Alice says, got my bags packed.
Yep. Got my bags packed. There's a good one. Gene says, I'm going, woohoo. Some great stuff there. Now Sue did say all the good stuff is in the States. Canada wants some good stuff too. So Cheryl, you're gonna have to figure out how to get this summit in Canada too.
Well, Sue, how about Buffalo? We could maybe go Buffalo because that's
there we go.
pretty close to Canada.
Nice. Very nice. For sure. All right. Let's see here. We've got some good stuff going on here. What other questions we got from folks? Sue did ask, get your opinion, Cheryl, if you don't mind. What's the best sublimation printer out there?
I think it's Sawgrass, hands down. I mean, this is not about, I actually have an Epson that, I don't talk about much. It's a great printer. It's uses ink that it's an ecosystem. For me, the issue and the reason that I can't get behind it and I won't get behind it is because when you buy a Sawgrass printer, you're buying a package that the printer is warranted, the ink is warranted, you get the support. When you're buying something like this, you need support. And it's not about if you need support, it's about when you need support. And so for me, because Sawgrass is a package deal, they warranty everything. And that's all they do. That's what they do. They just do sublimation printers. And so when you're talking about some of the companies that sell the ink, they don't warranty those printers. So you call up and you say, hey, I'm getting these lines. Oh, well, you got an issue with your printer. What printer do you have? Oh, I have an Epson. Okay, well, you got to call Epson. You call Epson. I'm sorry, you voided the warranty. That's not, ink that's, it is supposed to be used in our printers. So sorry. And then there you go. You have to buy another printer.
Totally. Okay. Yeah. We've got some other good questions here, Cheryl. So I'm going to keep peppering you if you're okay with that.
Absolutely.
What size heat press do you need for most items? Do you have a recommendation there?
A 16 by 20 DK20S, it's sitting right next to me. And so again, I had a Hotronix Fusion. I still have a Hotronix Fusion. And I love it. It's great. I love the drawer. It cost more than the DK20S, but I started having issues with my neck and back with the Fusion because of the way that, it lifts up and it almost jerks your neck and you don't realize it. And, if I'm pressing a lot in a day, oh, forget it. 2 days later, I'm in pain. With my DK20S, I've not had pain one time. Ergonomically, it is just so much better for you. Let
me add something about heat presses because we've talked about it here before. That is not a place to cut a corner to save money buying a cheap import for $325 because it will impact the quality of your
absolutely.
Sublimation, and it's it's an investment because that DK20S from Geonite 20 years from now you're going to be using the same heat press, so
that's right.
Make the investment now, and you're talking $1,500-$1,600 for a good quality heat press, but when you say, hey, I'm going to have it for 20 years, it's pretty darn cheap. So don't waste your money on a cheap
That's
import.
A great point, Terry. That really is a great point because I sing that song all day long in my, and I feel bad. And I have a picture that somebody had posted years ago in my group where she had a cheap heat press from China that she did mouse pads and she couldn't get real good, vibrant colors. So she ended up buying the DK20S and she did a side-by-side. It is unbelievable the difference. So I just show people that picture because it's the truth. But when you think about how inexpensive it is 15 years from now, 20 years from, even 10 years from now, that's a pretty inexpensive, and all the substrates that you didn't ruin.
Right. Exactly right.
Yeah. Just dividing it by how many years you're using it, and then taking that big pile of throwaway
Spoilage,
stuff.
yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
That's right.
Good stuff. All right, Cheryl. So we're just about out of time here, but I had one more question that actually leads me into another question that I wanted to ask you. So here's the question from Beth. Says, first time ever catching the Facebook Live, home crafter. Do you have a tip on somewhere you could send me to learn sublimation? Traveling to a show is a bit out of my league just yet. So Cheryl, tell us where people can find your Facebook group. I think that seems like the perfect place.
Okay, so I have a YouTube channel, and I have a page, and I have a Facebook group, Sublimation for Beginners and Beyond Facebook group, and the page, same title, and also my YouTube channel. So, and we have a great group of people in there, and I have to tell you, so many people are so helpful in the group. I mean, they really, a lot of the people, once they learn, they tend to leave the group, and we had that for a while, where people would say, oh, I don't got time for beginners. Oh, they ask the same thing. But there is a core group of people in the group that will jump in and help, and they're just awesome. I mean, we really have an awesome group of people. It's and some of them are here today, like Evelyn.
Totally.
She's one of them.
All right.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Cool. So Sublimation for Beginners and Beyond. And if you can get to it, though, you want to check out sublimationsummit.com, happening in Georgia in September 26th and 27th, or 27th, 28th?
27th and 28th. And we're getting a code for you guys.
Okay.
It's two reg guys. The number 2 REG guys. So that's the code for $50 off for the 2-day. Yeah. So yeah. And Beth, definitely you can private message me, and I'll send you the link for that.
Okay.
Cheryl is the best with. Thank you. How sweet.
Yeah, let's
Thank
put that
you.
one up there. Awesome. All right, Cheryl. Well, good. two reg guys is the code you want to use there over at Sublimation Summit, and you can also private message Cheryl through her group there at Sublimation for Beginners and Beyond. Cheryl, thank you so much. Really appreciate having you.
Thank you both. Yeah,
and we're gonna
this is so much fun.
Totally. And we're going to deep dive some more tomorrow on my Small Business Saturdays. So more Cheryl coming at you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All
right, Cheryl. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, you guys too. Thanks so much.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Awesome.
Cool. That was great. Terry, awesome stuff. So sublimationsummit.com. Check that out. And I'm looking forward to heading out to Atlanta here towards the end of the what would that be? Fall? I don't know. End of the third quarter. We'll leave it at that. Easy for me. All right, Terry. Well, let's see where we at here. Other things coming up for me, as I just mentioned, Cheryl is going to be joining me over on my Facebook page tomorrow, facebook.com/aaronmontgomery.info. Been doing Small Business Saturdays for about 2 years now, and she is going to check in, and we're going to really focus on the Sublimation Summit. Kind of talk about the keynote speaker a little bit more, talk about who all is going to be there, what to expect, all the networking opportunities, all the really cool stuff going on. And, so little bonus stuff happening for you tomorrow over there at facebook.com/aaronmontgomery.info. That will be happening same time as today's show, actually. So we'll be 11 a.m. Eastern time, 8 a.m. Pacific time tomorrow. So check that out. The other thing I wanted to share, Terry, was we had talked about an email that you had got, an autoresponder email that you had gotten not too long ago.
Right.
And I have composed a blog with that. I've hid the name to protect the innocent or not so innocent, and but kind of posted that, and you can find that over at my webpage, aaronmontgomery.info. It's the most recent blog that I just posted there. How do transactional emails read to your to your customers? So check that out and get my take and see
This
the fun.
particular one, for anybody who, if you're curious about what it said, basically in bold letters, no returns.
Yes,
As a response email.
Very, very loud, a lot of yelling, a lot of "You're a terrible person, Mr. Customer, so don't come buy from me." Is the way it felt to me.
Exactly.
So I was. It was kind of so interesting that came up right after I had a video about transactional emails and what to do there and how to make them sound a little bit different than, this is my policy and you're terrible and you shouldn't buy from me. It should be, this is my policy because we want to give you the best opportunity. We want you to have the best experience. We want you to love every single second of doing business with us. And so to do that, here's how we go about that kind of thing. So just changing your attitude a little bit, maybe not typing in all caps. I don't know, some weird things like that. And then another thing that I'm going to announce it today. I have not done a whole lot more with it. I did a lot of research last year and I'm going to make this happen. And I finally picked a date this morning. So I'm going to be doing a digital marketing webinar. It's going to be called Becoming a Digital Marketing Superhero. And I'm going to talk about social media and email marketing. And that is going to happen on Monday, November 11th, 2019. It happens to be Veterans Day. So the normal cost of that is going to be $49 a person, but I'm going to do some specials for the two regular guys and get that built and pumped and going here. So that's announcing basically to hold myself accountable. How about that?
There you go.
But what about you, Terry? What do you got coming up here?
I can't believe we're talking about November already, but we are into July. Well, so Aaron, next week I'm going to be out at Franklin Lakes, New Jersey at Equipment Zone. We're going to be doing DTG Academy. That's going to be July 11th and 12th. That's a paid event. Lots and lots of education, though. For anybody who already is doing direct-to-garment printing or anybody that's interested in getting involved. It's going to be, as you mentioned, a deep dive. We're going to really get into the nuts and bolts of it and also how to sell your product as well. I do have a couple of complete screen printing business courses coming up here in July 20th and 21st. I'm going to be at Workhorse Products here in Phoenix, and you can sign up for that at terrycombs.com. I'm going to be in Chicago at Atlas Screen Supply, August 24th and 25th, and you can go to atlasScreenSupply.com to sign up for that one. July 24th, I'll be one of the presenters at a free DTG class put on by Equipment Zone. That's going to be at MBM Meadowland / New York City area / Secaucus / and I'll be in the equipment.
Train. Right.
Yeah. Where if you take the train to New York City, that's where you're going to be, Secaucus. And, I'm going to be in the Equipment Zone booth then July 25th and 26th. And we're going to be doing a DTG / Sublimation Roadshow with Equipment Zone August 10th in Seattle, September 20th in Boston. And as always, all my upcoming events for 2019 are going to be at terrycombs.com under tour dates. And I guess I should start putting in 2020 events, Aaron.
Yeah. It's wow. It's time flies when you're having fun, right?
I know, man.
Good stuff. All right. Well, Terry, we've come to the close of another show. Thank you so much to all the regulators. We did not get to every single question in there, so we'll try to come back in the comments and see if we can cover some things. But the best thing to do there is just get on over to Sublimation for Beginners and Beyond's YouTube, Facebook page, all that stuff, or just come to the Sublimation Summit. So speaking of that, we want to thank Cheryl for her time today. It was great having her on and learned a lot of stuff. Yeah, I learned sublimation stuff today, Terry. That is
there you go.
What it's all about. So
there's always something more to learn, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Some great stuff going on.
Yeah.
And again, check out Sublimation Summit. Just as it sounds there, sublimationsummit.com is where you want to check that out. So Thanks very much to Cheryl.
And we also want to thank our show producer, Eric Campbell, for manning the boards there today. And you can find him at ericcampbell.com. And also want to thank our sponsor, Embrilliance, and their family of products.
Excellent. Yes. Thank you guys very much. And make sure to use their code too. We're getting all sorts of savings going on today. So appreciate Brilliance and all their support. And Eric, High five, dude. Awesome job in the comments as usual. And check him out over at ericcampbell.com. Next week, Terry, we've got Joe Ortnaugh. He's going to be joining us. And another volleyball player, by the way, just a side note for James there. Joe and I hit it off because of the volleyball, but also because he's an awesome dude. And he's actually going to join us to talk about a design and style guide. So really looking forward to that. He kind of picked that up from one of the Shirt Lab events and his take on it. And he's really taken it and run with it. And man, doing some cool stuff over there at Ortnaugh Inc. So looking forward to talking to Joe about that. So great stuff coming up next week, Terry.
Absolutely. Until then, I'm Terry Combs. He's Aaron Montgomery.
And we are the Two Regular Guys. Thank you for listening to Two Regular Guys. Check out our website at tworegularguys.com. That's the number 2,